Hello, Trick or Treat Radio. Yeah, I just watched The Ugly Stepsister on Shudder, just released recently. So this movie, bit of a spoiler alert, because I don't know, I didn't watch I watched a little bit of the trailer, but I didn't catch it there, and I didn't read the synopsis really of what the movie is kind of about, but like during the movie, like they I should have known by the title, The Ugly Stepsister. This is basically a movie about Cinderella. Well, it's about the ugly stepsister and her perspective of what she went through. I mean, you get a little bit of Cinderella in the movie, but basically, you're basically introduced to the ugly stepsister, and you see how the wicked stepmother, who was the ugly stepsister's actual mother, how she treats her daughter and uses her to basically, because what basically happens is if you watched it, the mother marries a guy. She thinks, I guess she thought he had money and he didn't have money, and he dies right away. And then, Cinderella is his daughter. I don't know if her name was Cinderella or they just wound up calling her that. I maybe I didn't catch that, but the movie, I mean, it wasn't like I consider horror, like blood, gore, stuff like that, terrorizing, monsters, slashers, stuff like that. But this movie scared me a bit because of personal experiences. I've gone through quite a few surgeries and been in surgery rooms, and so when they were doing, because this movie takes place in, like, I guess, like 1800s, whatever. So when they needed a doctor to perform a procedure on someone, they came to the house and they did it like right then and there. So they did it, like you saw in the trailer. They gave the girl, the ugly stepsister, a nose job, and they showed like putting a chisel into the bone of her nose with like a hammer kind of thing, and then like other stuff, and then she got these other procedures, and like it's just like every time like I saw like something like being performed, like I was wincing myself. So that was quite terrifying for me, for PTSD that I have from personal life experiences. So yeah, that was a bit, but I guess to most people they would think it was actually quite tame in what they do. But then I won't spoil the rest. Something happens at the end where yeah, uh you see how far they're gonna go. So basically, the ugly stepsister is madly in love with the prince because he sends around like a book of poetry, I guess, to all the girls in the town, and she's like reading this poetry, like doing what like young girls do, and sitting there, I guess, and like dreaming and fantasizing about being, with the prince, and falling in love with him, and him sweeping her up off her feet and whatnot. So you get like a bit of obsession with her, and you see like the mother, like, goes to no ends. Like, she spends what little money that they have left in trying to make the ugly stepsister look beautiful and be like the number one contender for this prince because he throws a ball. And then, the girls know that they have like 4 moons, I guess that's 4 months, to get to the ball and go there. And you know the prince is going to choose a wife. So the you see the obsession of this girl that just basically, it seems like a crush on someone, but she takes it way too far. And that's where you get like some of the things that happen in this movie. Like some of the choices that she makes, it's just like whoa. But yeah, so this movie was definitely interesting from a psychological relationship perspective, and then also, once as soon as they uttered the name Cinderella for the other sister, well, the other sister, that, and I was just like, oh. Then I realized kind of where this story kind of was going, so I knew kind of like the path that it was going to take. Although it was very very dark and gritty, and the people, they weren't as fairy tale like in the way that they acted towards each other. It was very, kind of the way that you would expect people to have acted, trying to be so, prim and proper, yet they definitely were not. So yeah, it was I would call this movie definitely a treat. I enjoyed it. I wasn't bad. I felt for the ugly stepsister, and I guess that's kind of what you were supposed to do in this movie. And I actually was not rooting for Cinderella. Although, like, once the Cinderella thing came in, I felt more sympathy for the ugly stepsister, because I was like, she's got no shot. Like, this girl who just dreamed the whole movie about this prince and being swept off her feet, and went through all these horrible things that the wicked stepmother put her through to get a step ahead and get a chance at, being the princess to with this prince. Yeah, it was kind of a little sad that way. And then, yeah, the way it ended, I think they just were like, yeah, we don't know what story to tell anymore, so let's kind of end it. But it wasn't bad. It was pretty interesting. Yeah. So yeah, this is Casual Noob Cybot signing out.